special and the right choice.
He made it on his own, and I think he made it on his terms.
This wild journey from this guy that comes out of Baltimore, D.C., with a comic genius, has a hit TV show, and he ends up being embarrassed and humiliated.
Actor Martin Lawrence collapsed and fell into a coma on Sunday with a body temperature of 107 degrees.
All that pain was really there, and I think Martin was deeply hurt about it, but recovery can be the best revenge.
Yeah! What's up? That's right. That's right. I hear the ladies hollering for me like I'm fine. And see, my mother's so cool, man, because she raised 6 of us. And my father left, man, and it was f***ed up, because when he was there, man, we had a yard, y'all. You know, he was running around in the yard.
Martin Lawrence was 8 when his mother, Clora, moved him and his 5 brothers and sisters into a housing project in Landover, Maryland. His father, John, was with the Air Force, and after his parents split up, Martin didn't see much of it.
When you're a child, you know, and your father's there and then your father's not there, it can be kind of rough on a child coming up. Yeah.
Martin Fitzgerald Lawrence had been born on April 16, 1965, in Frankfurt, Germany, while his father was stationed there. He was the 5th of 6 children. After the divorce, his mother worked 2 jobs to support them all.
Having 6 kids and trying to make sure they ate, and we had our rough times. We went through the welfares, and you know, somehow she always made it happen, you know.
We just didn't have material things, but we had love, so I guess that helped a lot.
The housing project where Lawrence grew up is closed and empty now. It used to be a rough neighborhood. Martin Lawrence was small for his age, but he learned to be fast with his fists.
He would fight a lot as a child, as a little one.
If they wanted to pick somebody to fight, they'll pick Martin because he's the smallest guy, you know, but sometimes that's not the better pick.
He was smaller, but he had a lot of heart. His heart more than made up for his size.
To keep the bullies at bay, Martin joined a boxing program. He became a Golden Gloves contender and AAU champion. Those he couldn't defeat in a fight, he would disarm with a gift for winning laughs.
He looks at life through his own eyes and Martinizes it. He finds comedy in just about anything that's around him.
His favorite and toughest audience was his mother, who he would try to entertain when she returned home from a hard day's work.
I knew if I could make moms laugh, I wasn't too far from making America laugh.
Which had become his dream. However, his gift for clowning around wasn't always appreciated at school, where the hyperactive Martin could be disruptive in class.
And he was a handful. He really was. He had a lot of energy.
Froggy Henderson still teaches art at Eleanor Roosevelt High School. She recognized Martin's comic talents and struck a deal with him. He wouldn't have to stay after school if he did his work on time and made her laugh.
And I was like, go ahead, try and make me laugh. And I'd think of every horrible situation that I possibly could to prevent myself from laughing, because he really was funny. So Martin perceived this, of course, as having his audience and performing.
Lawrence's heroes were Eddie Murphy and Richard Pryor. Doing stand-up in class reinforced his dreams of following in their footsteps. But first, he had to find his path. Henderson encouraged him to work up a routine for an open mic night at a local comedy club.
And I went on and I bombed so bad. It was this drunk lady up front looking at me, and I was trying to do jokes and she was drinking, going, oh God, not another JJ.
But Lawrence was not discouraged. When he graduated from high school in 1984, he got a job as a janitor in a Kmart department store, but made it clear to everyone that a career in comedy was what he was working for.
He would go and do the comedy clubs at night and sleep during the day, and that's when I knew he was serious. And once he puts his head to something, he's very, very determined.
Lawrence sought help from a legendary comic in the D.C. area known as the Fat Doctor.
Martin found me. He just appeared one day. And he said that he wanted to do this. He said, man, I want to do this, man. I want to do this like you doing this, man. And I said, okay, well, I'll try to help you as much as I possibly can. And then I found out that we were neighbors. He lived right across the street from me, and then I couldn't get rid of him.
The Fat Doctor took Lawrence in hand, bringing him around the clubs and teaching him the fundamentals. Pretty soon, Martin had developed an act with a heavy accent on relationships, which still forms the basis of much of his comedy to this day.
Gotta admit, ain't nothing in the world I wouldn't do for my lady. And I know it ain't nothing in the world she wouldn't do for me. And I guess we go through life not doing a damn thing for each other.
As every new comic, he was not very good when he began.
Guys, we will do anything for women when we want to make love to them, won't we? Right? Because we could be laying in the bed butt naked with a lady. She say, baby, I'm thirsty. I know it ain't the right time, but I was wondering. I was hoping. I know 7-Eleven is 3 miles away. But if you run and get me something to drink, please. Being the men we are, we say, baby, what you want? Big gulp, super gulp, I got $1 in my pocket, what you want?
He had the fire and he had the desire to be the next Eddie Murphy. That's what he wanted to be, the next Eddie Murphy.
In 1987, the Fat Doctor gave him a tip that would change his life. The TV amateur hour, Star Search, was holding auditions for comics in Washington. The Fat Doctor was going, and he wanted Martin to try out, too.
Actually, when I was going to the audition, I had to call Martin and say, come on with me, I can get you on. And he said, I'm not going, man. That's not for me. I'm not ready for it. I literally pulled him out of bed and took him with me.
Martin Lawrence.
And they picked him. And, you know, the rest is pretty much history.
I like the way the conservative, macho businessmen meet women. You ever notice these guys go in a bar, they find out who they want, and they have a certain walk, and they get financial on women. It's like...
Porsche, $72,000 a week. I'll be over here by the bar.
Lawrence won on his first appearance on Star Search.
Here's the decision. Martin Lawrence gets 2.5 stars. Challenger Steve-O gets 2 3/4 stars. Steve-O.
But lost the second round. Before the shows even aired, he was back mopping floors at Kmart. But a few weeks after coming home, a producer who had seen the show offered to fly him to L.A. to audition for a role on a TV series. He went to visit his old art teacher before he left.
He said, I'm going out there. I just want to thank you for starting me out in the clubs. If it wasn't for you and handing me that business card and sending me to the clubs, I wouldn't have this life I have today, and I love this life.
He promised Froggy that if he were successful, he would buy her a car. Soon after landing in Los Angeles, he landed a role on TV. For Martin Lawrence, everything seemed to be happening at last.
In the near future. Bye-bye.
You are watching Martin Lawrence on Biography.
Thank you, thank you. I'm Martin Lawrence. How y'all doing?
Martin Lawrence came out to Hollywood for a TV show, but it was soon canceled, and he went back to the clubs. It's easy to get stage time, and Lawrence soon ran out of money.
He went to comedy stores and, you know, where they told him he couldn't make it and forget about it, try something else and the whole thing, but never listened to it. And he believed in himself, and he just constantly forged ahead. You know?
Lawrence was befriended by comedian Robin Harris, who got his own manager to take Martin on when Lawrence's talent agency dumped him.
Martin had tears in his eyes, and that was pretty much the day I decided to dig in for him.
Topper Carew was impressed with Lawrence's drive and ambition.
He had an extraordinary work ethic. He was just a sweet guy. Used to help pay his rent, used to help pay for his car, used to feed him. We went everywhere together, and, you know, I just had enormous belief in Martin.
I've been with you for 4 years. You're gonna leave me after 4 years? I love the mess out of you, girl. I should crack your forehead.
gonna leave me after 4 years. Man, I brought you a hat, a scarf, a t-shirt. I want all my stuff back.
And the thing that further distinguished him from so many of the other comics was not just his passion, but also his ability to slip into characters.
In 1989, Topper Carew helped get Martin his first movie role in Spike Lee's Do the Right Thing. The part was small, but got him noticed. His knack for playing street personalities also impressed his stand-up audience.
You can tell when else, you can't even tell a black woman, honey, I'm going out. They say, oh, you getting ready to go out without me? Well, let me tell you something, Mr. Go Out Man. That's why you can't hit black women, man. You can't get to that head. Whoa. Don't you hit me. Don't you.
Lawrence was part of a new force in comedy that was changing stand-up in the late 1980s. Hip-hop had propelled young black rap musicians into the new elite of youth culture, appealing to young people of all races. Now young black comedians were bringing the culture of the street into the clubs.
Feeling really good. Another young black man making money. Doing it the right way, right?
He was part of the hip-hop culture, part of the hip-hop comic invasion, so to speak. Martin Lawrence actually was a mirror reflection of hip-hop culture.
For the laughs, and I was willing to go for the laugh by any means necessary. And I don't regret it one bit. I really don't.
In 1990, he taped a half-hour comedy special for HBO and teamed up with rap stars Kid and Play in the movie House Party. Lawrence played a DJ with a funny hat and a case of bad breath.
I think so. Academy Award. You know, he was a funny guy, but, you know, he was kind of an ornery, you know, cranky, cantankerous kind of guy. You know, he was a cantankerous young guy, you know what I mean? So Bilal is this cranky, cantankerous, put-upon guy. It was a lot of Martin.
The movie was a hit, and Lawrence was given a prominent role in the sequel.
And, you know, he was getting called Dragon Breath and stuff like that, which he didn't like, but he didn't, you know, we tried to explain to him, hey, it's love. Dragon Breath is meant with love.
The years of struggle were ending. In 1992, Lawrence was living his Hollywood dream when he got a chance to work in the movie Boomerang with his hero, Eddie Murphy. Martin and Murphy's camaraderie on the picture extended off-screen as well.
Oh, yes, we're on the same wavelength. There it is. We're the same cat.
Murphy would help catapult Martin Lawrence from funny minor sidekick to major star. Rap impresario Russell Simmons had recognized the growing popularity of hip-hop comedy.
It became a huge underground phenomenon, and all it was waiting for was exposure.
He got a commitment from HBO for a new comedy variety series, and he needed a host. Lawrence was in the running for the job, and Eddie Murphy cinched it with a glowing recommendation.
And Eddie said, absolutely, that's the right guy. And that was, if I had any questions in my mind at that time, that was the final straw.
Death Comedy Jam starring Martin Lawrence premiered in 1992. The show drew huge numbers for HBO and became a showcase for black comics across the country.
A lot of us, me, Bernie, DL, Sid, Jamie Foxx, Chris Tucker, we were all stand-ups before Def Jam and had cool club careers. But none of us blew up into that television mode until Martin Lawrence said, ladies and gentlemen, from Cleveland, Ohio, Steve Harvey. And he did that for several thousand people. And for that, they owe Martin Lawrence.
The buzz from the show helped his prospects. Lawrence and his manager had been shopping around a comedy show of their own, a sitcom that would draw on Lawrence's gift for creating characters.
They didn't want a character comedy. Nobody wanted that. We decided we would fight for that because we felt that that's what the audience wanted.
HBO agreed to make the pilot, and the then-fledgling Fox network greenlighted the series.
Hey America, what's up? This is Martin Lawrence telling you, you gotta stay tuned for Martin Next starring me, Uno Nuno, and my special...
America would stay tuned to a show that wasn't quite like anything else on TV. Martin Lawrence, hip-hop comic from the projects, had achieved his dream. He was making America laugh.
Stay tuned. I love you. Peace.